Okay. So if you look at the links here, I added a new one. You see it called Our Class Videos. And I'm going to put them in here by date. So, you know, if there's anything specific to our class, it'll be in here. But the actual work, the numbers crunching and the lecturing and all of that will be in this My Videos and Homework section. All right, so you have more videos to watch. Now, what do we have coming up? Let's take a look. Homework. We have chapter 10 homework due on the 25th, right? So that's a week from tomorrow. And I'm hopeful that today we will get through all the homework in chapter 10. I don't think we'll have much extra time after that. And then we'll get into chapter 11. We'll start that next week and then finish it the week after. What else? In terms of exams, exam 1, October 5th, right? So it's still a little bit of ways, but trust me, it'll get here. And remember, you have extra credit due the same day as the exams. So you see you have 2 questions, chapter 9, chapter 10, both due October 5th. And as I've said to you before, and I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, don't wait until the last minute, right? Wait until the last minute, that's when everything goes wrong. So let's see where we are. Before we get into this, are there any questions about anything? Okay. Now, before we look at the video, let's look at the problems we'll be covering, right? You see them here, brief exercise 10.8, 10.9, and 10.10. So let's just take a quick peek at them so we have an idea going in what we're going to be looking at. And see how short they are, right? All 3 of them fit on the same page, right? So these are topics that I'm not going to say they're easy, but they're not as complicated as some of the other ones we do. So if I look at this number 8, right, it's dealing with something called treasury stock. When a company buys back shares of its own stock, that's treasury stock. And often what happens is they buy it back and then later they resell it. So here's the entry to buy it back. Here's the entry to resell it, right? So brief exercise 8, buying it back. Brief exercise 9, reselling it. Brief exercise 10, dividends. Now in accounting 1, right, they would just tell you the company paid a dividends of $1,000, debit dividends, credit cash. But we're going to learn here, notice that there are 3 dates that we have to deal with. The declaration date, that's the early date. That's when the board of directors gets together and decides that we're going to have a dividend. Dividends are not automatic, remember. The board of directors has to say you're going to have one. The record date, which here you see it was October 15th, the record date, we make a list of who gets the dividend. You have to own the stock on the record date to get the dividend. So there's no entry to be made, but the company has to make a list of who owned the stock on that day. And then you see here October 31st, the payment date, the day we're going to actually write the checks for the dividend. So with that in mind, let's get into this. I'm going to stop the recording because I don't want to record over a recording. It's kind of silly.